Okay, let's dig into some of these charts because we could be on the verge of a big explosion in the market coming pretty soon, right? Within the end of the year, based on the full year cycle. That's how it's going to play out, right? Based on the full year cycle. And the stock market is moving up right now. So this is the SPX 500, the stock market. This yellow line is the M2 money supply, which is the amount of money in the system basically in America. And the stock market basically follows this, right? Because the money supply goes up, there's more money in circulation, more people put that money into investments, right? Which is the stock market mainly. So more money comes into the system, it goes into the S&P 500, okay? The money in the system has been going up and up and up, okay? And we did have a big dip in the stock market due to the tariffs, okay? Now we're recovering, or we've recovered, and now we're starting to catch up. So this could go a lot faster, I'm thinking, in order to catch up. If the M2 money supply is going to continue climbing as well, then, we've got quite a bit of a bull market left to go potentially, okay? And obviously Bitcoin follows the stock market, right? So Bitcoin's been in a bull run along with the stock market ever since back here. And until the stock market goes in a bear market, Bitcoin's probably not going to go in a full-blown bear market, okay? That's what I believe. I think we're going to keep on getting pumps and dips, pumps and crashes and stuff like that. But we're not going to get a full-blown bear market until the stock market goes in a bear market. Because that's what happens last time. We go back to the stock market. So last time in the stock market, okay, this big dip here, that's when the bear market happened for Bitcoin as well. And this dip here and this dip here was basically the bear market after 2017. But it was a different story back then, right? So the stock market did go up and this is the 2017 bull run, okay? But it was a different story for Bitcoin back then because Bitcoin was a lot smaller, okay? But in the previous bull run, obviously we got money printing after COVID, and then we got a bear market, okay? And that's what happened with Bitcoin. It ran up a lot and then it had a bear market, okay? So it does follow the stock market. It's kind of funny as well. Like, you see what happened here. You saw this big dip with COVID, and then we recovered, and then we just went up on a massive bull run after that. It kind of looks similar now. So we've got this big V-shaped dip now due to the tariffs, and now we're kind of recovering and we're going up. And we've got Trump, obviously, who's leading America right now. And Trump's big on the stock market, and he's big on crypto as well, because crypto has made him a lot of money recently. He's made a lot of money off of crypto and off of his meme coin, okay? So Trump loves crypto and he loves the stock market, okay? So Trump, he wants to push the stock market higher. He wants the rate cuts and all that stuff. So if Trump's going to push the stock market higher or do everything within his power to make that happen, we could get something similar to what happened in 2021, right? It probably won't be as crazy as this because we did have COVID and we got obviously massive money printing going on, okay? So I don't think it's going to be as crazy as that because it was kind of just a lucky time to be in the market, right? But I do think it's going to resemble something similar to that. So yeah, Bitcoin's just been in a bull market along with the stock market. Obviously it's more volatile, up, down, in between these yellow trend lines. And now it's broken above this white trend line. So this white trend line is basically linking up the tops of each bull market. So 2017 down here, 2021, and then we had its resistance up here in 2024, and now we've broken above it, okay? So we're kind of falling down on a falling wedge towards this trend line again, and I'm watching this now to see what's going to happen, whether we're going to break up or break down. I'm leaning towards break up because what I just showed you with the stock market, unless we get a bunch of bad news again, some sort of FUD, in that case we'd probably go down, right? Maybe we get a pullback, but the probabilities right now are leaning towards we're going to break higher, right? Especially also if you look at the liquidation heat map for Bitcoin, you see right here the market makers have been attacking the liquidity down here, all the longs down here. There is still some there, so maybe they come down and grab it, but there is a lot of liquidity building up on the short side up here now. You see there's loads of liquidity building up here. It's becoming really green here. So at some point the market makers are probably going to want to go up and grab that liquidity up there, right, which is going to push the price up higher. So whether they're going to come down and grab the rest of this first and then let this build up more before they go up and attack this area, I don't know, but that's another thing that makes it likely that we're going to go up soon. And this falling wedge pattern that we're forming, if this breaks out to the upside, then we've got this distance here. If we break out down here somewhere, that's going to take us up to this yellow trend line, which is the trend line for this bull market that I showed you earlier. So this entire bull market, this is the upper trend line. And if you want to take this line from the bottom down here, and this pattern's going to break out, then that's going to take us up towards this red trend line, okay? And this is where I think the danger zone is. So obviously we got the yellow trend line, which is obviously a danger zone too, but we're also going to come into contact possibly with this red trend line. So this is the lifetime chart for Bitcoin on the log chart, right, on the logarithmic chart. And so this red trend line, I've literally connected all the tops from the lifetime of Bitcoin from each cycle, and this takes into account the diminishing returns, okay? So obviously this cycle we've had the biggest gains based on dollar value, right? Obviously from the bottom it was only 15k, and since then we've gained over 100k in value, okay? So based on the dollar amount, it's gone up the most, right? But obviously percentage gain since the previous all-time high, it's only done not even a 2x, right? Whereas obviously the last cycle did way more than a 2x, and the cycle before that obviously did way more than even this cycle. So each cycle the percentage gain gets smaller. So you can see that on here. The first cycle we went up the biggest percentage, second cycle was a lot of percentages but not as that much. Diminishing returns in percentages over time, right? So that's what the log chart shows you. It shows you the percentage gains rather than the dollar amount of gains. So yeah, I connected all these tops, and that takes us to here, somewhere around 140, 150,000. That's why I think this is the danger zone. It's probably going to be the top. I don't know that for sure. The stock market can continue moving higher and higher. Bitcoin can continue moving higher and higher. I don't know if it's going to be the top, but this is the danger zone. That's all I'm saying. It's a danger zone, right? Something to watch. So yeah, we got the trend line for this bull market so far here in yellow, and this red trend line is obviously what I just showed you. So up here somewhere is going to be a danger zone, okay? But if we move up into this zone up here, around 130, 140, 150k, I think there's definitely going to be some form of an alt season going on around here, because that's, you know, another 10, 20, 30, 40,000 dollars added onto the price of Bitcoin. So obviously we're going to get some form of an altcoin season in that area. Maybe it's just a meme season again, you know, or maybe we get a full-blown alt season, but we'll see. It's looking pretty good right now. Bitcoin dominance has been breaking down. We broke beneath this yellow trend line, which has been the trend line since this entire bull market. Bitcoin dominance going up, right? It did break down here, where we got a little bit of a meme season, and we did have some others like XRP was pumping, and HBAR and some other ones were pumping, I think. So we got a little bit of a mini alt season here. But obviously Trump came in with his tariffs, and then we started going up. We came back up above this trend line. Now we're going back down here again, right? But right now we don't have any bad news like the tariffs and stuff. So far it's holding. Touch wood. But it's kind of touched 60%. And yeah, I've got an alert here at 60% for when it breaks 60%. Because when it breaks that, it's probably going to come down back here again where it came before. Which back here it dropped just over 10%. Okay, whereas if it drops from here back down to that level, would put us at almost 20%. So that's a bigger drop in the altcoins dominance, right? The dominance on the altcoins is going to be larger. So obviously they're going to be moving quite a lot at that point. And if it drops down further than that, obviously the further it drops, the crazier it's going to get, right? And if we see something similar to what we saw here back in 2021, then obviously that's going to be super crazy. That would be all the way down here next to this blue line. So fingers crossed we can see something like that. But yeah, even just back here, where my cursor is now, obviously we saw quite a good meme season here, and we saw some other coins running as well. So we could definitely see something like this again pretty soon, right? But obviously we all want to see this happen again, don't we? Like what we saw in 2021. That's what we're all waiting for. So fingers crossed for that, but we'll see. Ethereum's holding up pretty good right now. Holding up next to resistance. We could get a bit of a pullback from here. It's holding up pretty strong so far. We want to see what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin's going to break out or break down, we want to see what's going to happen, right? Because Ethereum is going to follow behind it, most likely. So yeah, maybe Ethereum's going to get a bit of a pullback here because we're at resistance. But if Bitcoin's going to break out higher and Ethereum's going to follow behind it and start breaking above the 4,000 mark resistance, and especially if it's going to break above the previous all-time high from last cycle at 4,600, you know, we're going to see some of the altcoins start moving, obviously. Solana's kind of holding above this support right now. This was kind of resistance, now it's kind of a support here, so it's kind of flipped that. So if Bitcoin's going to break out higher, then I might be interested on going long on Solana. So that's something I'm watching. SWI is kind of trying to break out at the moment. It come above this white resistance, the weekly resistance. It's come above this yellow line, this daily resistance, but it hasn't broken above the wicks yet. So this white line up the top is on the wicks, the previous wicks back here. So it didn't break up above the wicks yet. Okay, so really I want to see some closes above the wicks, or at least in this zone that we're in now, we can see some closes in here. But yeah, ideally we want to see some closes above the wick, and then maybe a retest down to the weekly, you know, down to this yellow line or the weekly one, this white line. Then maybe I can go along there. Or if we're going to get a pullback in the market, then obviously this yellow trend line here, I think it could come back down there potentially if the market has a pullback. And obviously the yellow line here and the yellow trend line here is kind of forming an ascending triangle, which is a bullish pattern. So I'd be interested in buying down here in the bottom range and then riding it up, and then hopefully get a breakout after the market moves back up, right? So I'm watching this. I'm pretty bullish on SWE. I think it's going to do really well. The SPX 6900 is pushing up against $2 as a resistance. And yeah, if the market moves upwards and this breaks $2, then I'll be looking for an entry on this. I did try and get an entry on this down here. So I broke out of this big cup and handle pattern, and I did put an entry here at 1635. Okay, and this wick here, it came down and just landed just above it, and then I didn't get filled. So kind of annoyed about that. I could have rode that up to here and then taken some profits, but whatever, you can't catch them all. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in opening some longs on this one, because if you catch a good long on this and it gets listed on Coinbase, then obviously you're going to make some massive gains, because this coin's almost 2 billion market cap, and it's done that without really much exchange listing. I mean, it's on a lot of exchanges, but it's not on Binance, it's not on Coinbase yet, and it's not on some other exchanges yet either. So if this is going to get Binance and Coinbase, and you're in a position in this, or if you're just holding it on spot, then obviously you're going to make some gains, right? So yeah, I'm going to be trying to trade this with longs. And yeah, I think there's potential to make some good money from this, because this coin's really volatile. It's like up and down. It's pretty volatile, right? So yeah, if you can get a good entry on this and then it gets listed on Binance and Coinbase all of a sudden, you're laughing. FARTCOIN I'm watching as well. I like the meme coins, you see, because they're super volatile, and that's where the money's made, in the volatility, right? But this one's hugging this trend line. Okay, so if we get a pullback in the market, then obviously it's probably going to break this trend line, come down somewhere else, maybe down to one of these moving averages. But if the market moves up, if Bitcoin starts breaking out and going higher, then I'd be interested in buying this on this trend line somewhere. So yes, I'm watching that. KASPA had a nice run recently due to the smart contracts news, which smart contracts are meant to be coming out next month, I believe at the end of next month. So I had a little run up because of that pre-news, right? And now it's had a bit of a sell-off. So KASPA could be a nice trade around the news sort of thing. Like on the 31st of August, I think smart contracts are coming out. I think, maybe that's wrong. But if the smart contracts come out and the smart contracts aren't as good as people were expecting, then the price is probably going to go down. So maybe you can short it. If the smart contracts are really good, then obviously the price is going to go up quite a lot. So it's worth keeping an eye on that, because it's probably going to either go up or down around that date. And if the smart contracts are good for KASPA, then the likelihood of getting a Binance or a Coinbase listing does become more likely after that point. So it'd be worth looking out for that too. Obviously it probably won't happen on the exact same day, but it's worth keeping an eye on it, right? Virtuals protocol is kind of forming a triangle, so I'm keeping an eye on that to see if it breaks up or down. If this breaks down and comes down into these levels to $1 or so, then maybe I'll be interested in buying. Peppy I'm keeping an eye on, because if Ethereum breaks out and goes higher, then better believe Peppy's going to go higher, because Peppy's the biggest Ethereum meme coin, except for Shiba Inu. So it's the biggest new Ethereum coin, right? Because Shiba Inu is obviously pretty old. So if Ethereum breaks out, Peppy's probably going to break out. Obviously at least out of this range and go up to the previous highs, but could go higher as well. So worth watching Peppy. And COCORO's still looking good. It's down from where I bought it. I did buy it up here at about 17, 18 million market cap. Obviously had a big dip. It looked like it was going to break out and go higher here, obviously, but then it had a big dip. I sold half on the way down as kind of like a stop loss, and it went down a bit more, and I bought back in again at the bottom, and we went back up, and I sold some here just to lighten my bag, because I went in too heavy here, to be honest. I'm still in heavy, right, but I went pretty much all in here. so this dip was quite stressful for me, but yeah, I made it through it. And yeah, I lightened my bag a little bit up here, and now I'm just holding, right? And if it does come back down to these levels again, I'm going to buy more, because again, my entry price was here somewhere. So if this comes down to here again and I buy back in here, then that's going to bring my entry to, you know, somewhere in the middle or whatever. So that'll be a good move for me, I think, because this one's got a lot of potential, right? Like, this is literally the real life sister dog to Dogecoin and Nero. And the sister dog to Dogecoin, the first one, Nero, went to over $1 billion. It went to $1.5 billion market cap. And this is the next dog in line. And basically, if this does the same as Nero, it's 100x, right? So this is a 100x potential coin right here. It's a community-led coin, right? It doesn't have a bunch of insiders holding a shitload of coins that they got for mega cheap. Doesn't have any of that. Obviously, there are people that got in early, but that's fair enough. If you buy early, then, you know, it's still a community coin, right? It's just like some people bought in back here somewhere. You know, that's just lucky for them, right? But there's no, like, insiders that literally bought before it even launched, right? Like, they didn't buy on a stealth launch because it's a community takeover coin. So it's much more trustworthy. That's why I've gone into heavy to this, because the narrative's so good. And I know it's not just a bunch of insiders holding the supply that are looking to dump on us, right? As opposed to this other coin called Manu. So this coin, Manu, is heavily manipulated, by the way. It's got loads of insiders in it. So the sniper wallets have changed. Like, I looked at these wallets on here the other day, and there was literally loads of wallets. There was like maybe 100 wallets of people that have bought like $50 worth, and now they've got like $500,000, right? So obviously they've changed this up, or I don't know, they changed this up somehow. They've hidden the wallets or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't trust my money in this. Definitely not for a big bag. But yeah, they're paying for exchange listings. Obviously they got money because they had a stealth launch, obviously, back here or whatever, and they will load it up before pumping it. And they've got loads of free money that they can use for marketing and paying exchange listings. Whereas COCORO doesn't have that because it's a community coin. They do have a marketing wallet and stuff that's all funded by the community, but this coin's obviously got more money behind them. But what they're doing now, you see the chart's just going sideways here. This chart could have gone up more, but it's going sideways because they're paying for exchange listings, and they're also doing some dirty things, like they're sending money to a Binance wallet to make it look like it's getting listed on Binance, to make it look like Binance are buying, but they just sent it there themselves. And yeah, they're just trying to cause FOMO to get people to come in, basically as exit liquidity, right? That's why it's just going sideways right now, because they're doing things like in exchange listings, they're doing marketing tactics to hold the price up whilst they dump, right? Like I'm telling you, they're cashing out right now. They're sitting on so much money because the wallets that I saw the other week, or whenever it was, they were up so much, like they're selling a lot of it. I mean, maybe this can go higher, and it could do really well. I don't know for sure, but I would not take that risk. I would not put my money into this. Definitely not now. Maybe back here. I actually saw this back here at 8 million or so. So that probably would have been a good time to buy, obviously, but I don't really like to buy that early. It was only out for a few days. I don't really like to buy until it's kind of proven itself a little bit. Like with COCORO, it's just proven itself, right? It's just a super clean, organic chart. Like, it goes up, people take some profits, it goes up, take profits, up, take profits, up, take profits, up, take... There's buying and selling going on. It's not just up, it's just... This is how a chart's supposed to look. Like, this is a good chart. Like, this is a sustainable chart, right? This is a chart that looks like it's going to last, right? Like, this does not look like it's going to rug. That's why I feel comfortable going heavy into it. Here's another coin I recently bought. I just bought a little bit of it, though. I didn't buy a lot because it's kind of a silly meme, really. I mean, what is it? It's just a blue frog. The #1 frog meme on base. Fighting ruggers and cheaters to make sure you don't go broke. I mean, yeah. It's a frog on base. Cool. The meme's kind of meh, but the chart looks good, right? The chart, you know, it launched, it went up, and it's just been kind of consolidating and going completely sideways, right? So this looks pretty strong to me. I don't like how the bubble maps looks with the wallet distributions. Like, why are these wallets all connected? I don't know, but I haven't really looked into it too much, so I don't really care. I haven't gone heavy into this. I've only bought a little bit, and I don't think it's going to go to a super high market cap because it's kind of like, the meme isn't anything special, is it? It's just a blue frog on base. 3 million market cap right now, so a 10x would take that to 30 million, 20x would take it to 60 million, 30x, 90 million. It's doable, right? It could even go higher than that maybe, but I don't expect this to go to a super high market cap. But I just like the way the price is behaving, right? It pumped at the launch, and then it's just kind of going sideways, right? It just looks like it's going to continue to just go sideways. Like, this looks like people are just holding this. It doesn't look like people are really buying and selling that much. People are just like, it just looks like there's a core community of people holding this. So yeah, I'll buy a little bit of it. Why not? You never know. It could have a nice little pump. And this coin does actually have a docs dev as well. So on X, I saw the developer, he's like on a video recording himself talking and stuff. So there's a docs dev with this one, which is good. Adds another layer of trust. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there for this one. If you get anything out of these videos, if these are helpful to you in any way, go ahead, drop a like for good luck, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.